Thought I'd make a quick little video today describing the internal components of a personal computer. Now, cell phones and other digital devices will also have many of these same things. So if you get to know what they are on here, you'll get to know where they are elsewhere also. Now, first thing I want to start with is a CPU, central processing unit. This unit doesn't have a fan or a heatsink on it right now, but mostly they will. You'll generally always see a heatsink. I believe this is the Northbridge chip under there. This is the heatsink, small heatsink for a small chip under there. Usually these have a giant heatsink on them, but just so I can show you a little bit, I decided not to leave that one on. So let me flip this up and you have a look at the central processing unit. This one particularly doesn't have any pins on the bottom. The pins are all down here, so you got to be really careful. Don't bend those pins down there. But yeah, the brain of the system right here. So that is the brain, but it isn't the memory. The rest of it is generally called the motherboard, where all the peripherals can hook up and get going. Now to get these suckers going, damn near every computer system needs RAM, random access memory. This is the stuff, this is your short-term memory. If you turn your computer off, it gets wiped. This stuff is super fast and pretty expensive type memory. There are some people that install Windows operating systems directly onto it, and those are fast as snot, but you gotta have a lot of RAM to install a Windows operating system on it. Now, the memory that will stay with your computer after you shut it off will come from a hard drive, generally. It could come from other media. If you have a cell phone, it's going to be coming from an onboard memory chip and or an external memory card, and we've all seen those. Now, every computer system needs a battery. The battery on this one would have normally been right about here. Little coin battery, and the reason it needs that is it needs to be able to remember the date. Without the date, a lot of things can go wrong. So that battery will give the BIOS, will keep the settings in the BIOS. So if you change a setting to say, look at this hard drive and not this one, and you lose your battery, you're going to have to set it up to say that every time. Those batteries will usually last about 3 to 10 years. 10 if you're really lucky. So let's have a look at a computer system. So here we have my dedicated recovery system. I only use this system to back up and recover other people's computers, or other people's hard drives, I should say. Now, here you'll see the fan, the CPU fan, and the aluminum heatsink. Once again, here we have the North Bridge, here we have the South Bridge. Here we have the hard drives that are connected up and connected in. Right up here we have the RAM. And going a little further into it, we have a video card now. Most computers will have onboard video. That means the video card is built right into the motherboard. But you can't rely too heavily on that, because those ones take memory from the RAM, directly from the RAM. However, a dedicated video card, or GPU, graphics processing unit, should have its own built-in dedicated memory. Let's see if I can get a tilt on here. There we go. Down here we have the PCI slots. And getting out of popularity now, but those are how you install other cards for whatever you need them for. Now, cell phones also have much of this kind of stuff, so it's good to have a good idea of what's going on. ROM, RAM, all that fun stuff. ROM is read-only memory, and usually you can find the ROM on a chip, a particular chip. Back in the day, it was very easy to determine where your ROM chip is. These days, not so much. I'm not seeing it. It might even be this one right here. Yes, that is the BIOS chip right there. Back in the day, you used to be able to pull that sucker out. It'd be probably about the size of my pinky. cut off about here. And your ROM is read-only memory. Read-only memory. That'll have all your settings on it. And if you don't have the battery, those settings won't save. Here's a closer look at a video card. It has its own, video cards will have their own chip directly on it. And their own cooling system. Sometimes they'll have fans, not this one. But yeah, that is the internal parts of a computer. The more you know.